And one show in particular, I think it was Wrestle Carnival's debut at the HMV Empire in Coventry, was in July, Ringmasters. And it featured a certain Scotty Hotty, who featured in the opening match against Crowley, and he took part, or he's kind of there after the main event as well, did the worm. But not only that, yourself and Charlie and Doris, and you got the chance to do the too cool dance, didn't you? So obviously there was Scotty Hotty and Grandmaster Sexay and Rikishi back in the day doing the too cool dance. And you got a chance to do it as well with the man himself. How was that in front of your home crowd in Coventry? That must have been a pretty fun moment for you.
Yeah, that was great. And I must admit, we did ask if we could do it.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
We did ask Gary a few weeks before. We were like, is anybody doing the dance of Scotty Too Hotty at the end? Because we'd seen that he'd like done other shows, like obviously in the UK, and he did quite a lot with OTT, and we'd seen other workers doing the dance with him. So we were like, I wonder if Gary's having him do it at Wrestle Carnival. So yeah, we shamelessly asked, is anybody else doing it? And he was like, oh, Doris, yeah, probably Doris. And we were like, well, can we do it as well? I was like, yeah, because I just think, like, you know, and some wrestlers are quite, I mean, or you know, it's you know, you shouldn't take photos with like wrestlers, and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't be a mark, and blah blah blah. And it's just like so stupid. Like, if I remember watching Scotty Too Hotty when I first got into wrestling, and I loved it. Like, why would I not? Like, if I've got the chance to do something like that, and it's funny because wrestling is the only industry where people are like that. Like, you know, like sometimes you'll see like bands or like singers will post like photos with like other artists, and they'll be like, oh, this person's my inspiration, I loved this person growing up, I can't believe I got to do a duet with this person, and nobody's like, Mark. But in wrestling we are, for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. So I just think if you get the opportunity to do stuff like that, you can only be told no, can't you? So it's always worth asking the question. And I got to tell a load of my friends that used to watch wrestling in the Attitude Era that I did the Scotty Too Hotty dance, and that they were probably more excited that I did that than anything else that I've ever done, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was thanks to that show also. I got to interview Scotty Too Hotty after the show, and then he came on the podcast, did a full interview with me a couple of months ago. But a similar story to yours. And I was at the Progress show on Sunday, up in the balcony, up in the VIP area, and I looked across to my left, and there was Nikki Cross, and I kind of I know that you've got a history with Nikki Cross, and we'll probably talk about her, but I was thinking, oh, she's obviously here to support Damo, and kind of tried to get her attention. And I didn't really want to kind of. Anyway, coming back from the interval, she walked past me, and I put my hand out, and she kind of walked past it. So I thought, okay. So I waved, and she waved back, and I was a proper mark there. She looked fantastic,
and I was like, I don't understand this. Like, I don't know where this kind of etiquette came from. Like, yeah, I mean, like, you know, if you're backstage and somebody's on a show with you, and they're like going through their match and whatever, then yeah, okay, fair enough. But like, I don't get it. Like, I don't understand it. Like I say, there's no other industry that's like it. Like, you'll see footballers do it, you'll see musicians do it, you'll see other athletes do it, but for some reason we don't. It's markish. Well, then I'm sorry, but every single person that gets into wrestling has been a mark at some point. Like, we're fans at the end of the day. So yeah, for me, I always just think, like, you'll regret it. Like, there's so many times I've done shows with people that were massive inspiration to me when I was younger. I mean, I got to wrestle Jazz, and she was like one of my favorite wrestlers. And yeah, too right, I told her. Of course, I said to her, because, you know, she was lovely. She was so lovely. And yeah, you might get the odd person that you say, oh, you know, you really inspired me as a kid, and blah blah, and they might just be like, oh, but I doubt not many wrestlers are like that. We obviously do it because we want to entertain. So to be told by anybody, you know, 10 years later, oh, you really inspired me, like, you'd have to have a bit of a heart of stone to not be like, oh, that's a really cool thing to hear. So yeah, I always just think, take the picture with them.
Absolutely.